welcome to another episode here today. It's balmy 14 degrees here in Alaska, a little chilly. Today's episode, I really want to focus on just a really quick, easy fire, something I can just go ahead and get lit real fast, 5-10 minutes max. If you ever get yourself in a situation where you're going hypothermic, you're freezing to death, or you just want to get a quick and easy fire real fast, this is the one you want to go with. We call it the Squalwood Firecraft. It's pretty straightforward. If you take a look around here, basically all I'm doing for is the dead branches underneath the trees, these coniferous trees here. The thinner the better. The way I can figure out if it's dead or not is if it has no needles on the end of it. So this is lacking any kind of needles. This lichen plant here is not part of the tree itself, all right? That grows just on the branch. It absorbs moisture. It doesn't necessarily mean it's alive if you have this lichen moss all over those things here. So not a great thing to have if it's really wet out here though. I want to scrape off as much as I possibly can if it is really a wet environment. But today it's pretty chilly, and because it's so cold, it actually causes everything kind of dry out a little bit in Alaska. So that's an advantage to us. So I want 3 different sizes here. So pencil lead, you got pencil, and my thumb stuff kind of progressing through. And if you notice on the branches when I broke them off, all 3 sizes are right there. It takes a little bit, about 2 seconds. Just grab a handful and snap it into 3 different piles. From there, what I'll make sure to do is have a platform and brace, something I can get my fire lit on. I obviously don't want to build it right on the snow or else that's going to melt. It's going to go put out my flames. It's not a good situation right there. So some kind of platform material, usually about 1 foot by 1 foot, something that can hold a coal base just for a little while so I don't have to worry about that thing burning up and getting put out by the snow itself. And then I call this a brace. It's basically forearm size, something I can lay the material on top of. It's going to give me that gap I'm looking for, so I'm not going to smother out my little tinder here. And if my flame starts to go out, I just grab this thing, kind of elevate it, and it's going to lift all the prep, all the wood off the flame. That's going to get some oxygen to it. So it's going to help out with keeping that thing from going out. So basically what I'm doing here, I'm using birch bark. It's easy tinder. I got it all around me right now. It's really plentiful. If I'm in an environment where I have the birch tree, you really got no excuse not to get a fire going here. So you'll see here in just a second how easy this stuff is to go. So basically all I do is grab some peelings, and I also get the little scrapings here. When you guys are getting those scrapings, make sure you scrape off or just wipe off all the snow and ice on the outside of that tree. Grab a knife, scrape just a little handful of that stuff, because all I need to do is get a little flame on that one little small hair-like and fibrous material right there. And then from there I have additional plentiful peelings in my pocket ready to go. I'm going to use this to really get my fire going and help me get a nice big flame started here. And you'll see how fast this stuff goes. It does burn up pretty quick. For today's ignition source, I'm going to use a metal match. We talked about that in previous videos. It's just an easy way to get these things going. If I had a match of just a standard stick match, I can skip this step right here without using the peelings, or excuse me, the scrapings. Just go ahead and take a match, light that underneath that thing, and it'll burn up just fine. You'll see how well this thing works. But these also work very well as well. They don't. These also work very well. They don't. They have a lot more fires built into them. You don't have to worry about these things getting ruined nearly as easy as like a matchbook or something like that. So from here, I take my gloves off. I don't like to get any kind of moisture, it might be in my gloves, onto my materials at all. So I take these things off, put them in my pocket. And I'll show you a couple techniques of how you can get this metal match started. So you come in here just a little bit closer, you'll see. So on these fire sticks, metal match, the ferro rods, they come with a coating on the outside of them. If it's a brand new one, go scrape that coating off there because it doesn't really work that great. Once you get that coating off there, it'll start to light a little easier for you. If they have the built-in striker on those, pay attention to the up side of this thing. Pay attention to the up on the striker itself. You want to make sure that's on the upside. It doesn't really work that great if you have it upside down there. I could also use just a standard knife if that's all I have as well. In fact, I typically use a knife because I have a little more control. I get a lot more embers coming off the stick. It's a little bit easier for me. So the technique for this is place my metal match down into my tinder I'm going to use here in just a second. Make sure the up is facing me. I want to kind of angle this just a little bit so it's not going to be flat against the surface when I come down to strike. I want this thing to go and stop a little bit early. And you see those embers coming off there. The main mistake most people make when they really starting out with these metal matches is they will start to flick that striker in your tinder, and your tinder is going to fly all over the place. So you really have to be nice and controlled. Don't be in a panic at all. Another way you can do this is to get yourself a nice knife or some kind of fixed blade. I like to put it right at the end of my metal match there. Take my other thumb, put it around top the knife itself. What I'm gonna do is a throttling maneuver with just like you're riding a motorcycle. And what that'll do is shoot those embers off into your tinder pile. The key with this is I do not want just little sparklers. I want this to be a nice chunk of metal that comes off this thing and falls into the tinder pile I'm working with. So as soon as I get this going, it's gonna see a little flame starting out here with my tinder pile. As soon as I see flame, I'm gonna grab some of my peelings, hover those above the flame so it doesn't snuff them out. And from there, I'm gonna build up my fire, starting my lowest, small stage up through my biggest stage here. Don't be in a hurry. Don't just grab it and throw it on top there. You really kind of have to control this thing. Take your time, put it on there in a controlled fashion so that way you're not smothering out that flame. I'll tell you right now, when it's really cold out here, like in Glasgow, it's 40 below, you want to get this stuff on there as quick as possible because that little flame has to heat up that wood enough for it to start to burn. So you really got to be pretty fast about this. And that's where this brace comes into play. If I can get all my material on there, most likely I'm going to smother out my flames and it's just going to go out. So if I get on there real fast and kind of hold this thing up, and that's going to allow me to get some oxygen to my flames still, so I don't have to worry about it going out. All right, so let's give it a try here. Let's see if I can hover it above. You'll see how easy it is to get these things started here. That's all it takes. Hover it above so does it flame out, does it snuff? Birch trees and birch bark are designed to kind of curl up on themselves and put the flames out. So that's why you don't want to just drop it on there. You see how it's having a hard time right now. Once it starts to go, it'll burn up pretty good here. All right, if you're confident that's gonna go, which I pretty am, go ahead and reach over here, grab your first stage, your pencil lead stuff, get that ready to go. I don't want this to go out, so I'm not gonna put it on there yet. Go and hover that above your flames. I'm lifting my brace up here because you see it's starting to go out a little bit. Grab my next stage. Go ahead and put that 90 degrees to the material I just put down. That way I still get oxygen to it. Reach back here, grab my next stage, my pencil, my thumb size. Put that 90 degrees what I just put down there. And you notice here, I'm holding my brace up here because if I put this thing down right now, it would snuff out all those flames. All this smoke is all moisture. It's kind of evaporating out, kind of drying out of the material here. So that's why it's really important you get this wood on there as soon as you can to use that heat source to dry that material out here. As you see, this environment, we've got some pretty fresh snow falling lately. This thing had no problem getting going. And a successful fire. Obviously, this is just the start of it. I can continue to grab more bigger materials and keep feeding it on there, and that will keep this fire going for me. But real quick, real easy way to get a fire going. It takes you 5-10 minutes if you got the right preparations. Really got to stress, make sure your material is nice and dry. Protect it, keep it up off the ground, off the snow as much as you can. Either put something down or even put it up on some dry logs. Get yourself your 3 stages. Get yourself a platform to build it on. Get yourself that brace to help regulate the oxygen. Then use whatever tinder you have available to you and build it up from small to big. Real simple, easy fire right there. So hope you enjoyed. Give me a thumbs up, give me a like, subscribe. I got a lot more fires and all the other survival skills coming your way. This is just the very beginning here, and I got a lot of different options out there for different ways you can meet your survival needs here in Alaska. So if you want to see more, please hit that subscribe button. Please give me a comment down below if you got any kind of questions, and I will hopefully answer those. And I got plenty more good videos coming your way. All right, thanks for watching. It's super weird talking to the camera here, so don't laugh at me or else I'll laugh on camera.